here with another transformation story. I'm here with another amazing transformer, and I want to introduce her to you. And we're going to talk a bit about her journey and her story. So give it up for Kacie Smith. I'm super excited that you're here, Kacie. Thank you so much for doing this and sharing your story. I think it's absolutely amazing and so encouraging to share your story. So tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. My name is Kacie Smith. I just turned 41 2 days ago. And I was a teacher for 20 years. I am now transitioning into a different field. I have a 17-year-old boy, and that's me.
All right. 17-year-old boy, a whole husband.
A whole husband.
Yeah, a whole husband, and it's all kind of goodness going on. So I love it. I love it. And if you don't mind me saying, you and your husband came on at the same time as me. So you guys are working through your transformation journey together, which I thought was absolutely amazing. So she came in with a built-in buddy to know, hey, this is my accountability. And they kept each other on track, which was absolutely awesome. So that's awesome. Okay, so good. So Kacie, tell me what caused you to come to me? What brought you to me?
So I think that the perception, and I know we've talked a little bit about it, but I think that there's the female perception of like thin is what's best, or this is the particular way that people should look. And this is especially women. This is how women should look. This is, what is considered beautiful and all of those kinds of things. And I think that I struggled with body image for a long part of my life. And then I think it just kind of hit one day that I was tired of feeling like that. I was tired of feeling like my worth was tied to a number on a scale, or my worth was tied to what size I was wearing, those kinds of things. I've always eaten pretty healthy throughout my life, but it's like I didn't know what I didn't know. And so that led us to you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So that's huge. That's huge what you said, that ultimately the whole perception, and women, we get this bad, y'all. The whole thing of skinny is healthy or slim is healthy. And people equate that often, not knowing what people are doing to get slim or thinner or lose weight. And people, at this point, I feel like I see so many diets and diet programs and pills and shots and all the other kind of stuff that people will do anything. It thin because they think thin is beautiful and healthy and more than anything attractive and acceptable. And you had to break out of that. So would you mind sharing with me a little bit more about like kind of where you were, like even mentally and emotionally with that? Like what did that look like for you? I heard you saying like the scale, being tied to the scale.
Yeah. So a couple of things were like, I knew that, I had this quote unquote target weight that I had done Weight Watchers before. Right. And it was kind of like the lowest weight that it would let me do, that's what I needed to be, especially because I'm short. And then, how that kind of translated over into things is that, I would be like, okay, well, if we're going to go have this for dinner, then I need to skip lunch, or I need to, to do those kinds of things. If I was on the scale and it was a number higher, then it was almost like, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong this week? What's happening? Those kinds of things. If, a certain size of pant, like it was positive reinforcement for me to be like getting in smaller clothes. But even then, like I was still looking in the mirror and I wasn't happy with what it was.
Got you. So it was a lot of restriction and kind of beating yourself up and almost self-sabotage, like jumping on the scale and validating myself by that number. And if it's not the number that they say that I need to see, or I think that I need to see, I beat myself up, I restrict, I take away more food. And a lot of times people have this idea of less equals more results. So if I eat less, if I, get less sleep because I work out more and I do all these things more and everything is just, more intense. If I'm more intense with the routine, I'm going to get better results. And that doesn't always work out that way. Right. Okay. So good. So knowing where you were and you said, I don't want to be here anymore. Where did you see yourself going? Like, why was this important then?
I didn't know where I was going to end up. didn't know where I was going to go. I just knew that it was detrimental on multiple levels for me to keep feeling like I was feeling, to have people in my family who, no matter how old they got, that it was still the same. I need to lose this many pounds. I need to lose this many. And it was like, do you, and I didn't want to be that person, because that person's not me. And so something needed to change about my perception of myself and the way that I looked at not just food, but, working out and doing all those things, so that I could figure out what I really wanted from it.
Okay. So good. I love that. So tell me, like, even with that, like, I want y'all to be clear. Kacie was not like, oh, I'm sitting on the couch potato, doing nothing. Okay. Kacie would really eat pretty good for the most part. Right. Mm-hmm. And then ultimately you had, some pretty good exercise habits too. You were a runner, you were consistent with running. Like, tell me more about that. Like, where were you with your eating and your exercise?
So, I mean, honestly, like, I was running, my husband and I were both running like a 5K a month. We were running 3 times a week. And it was not just to work out for me. Like, that for me was my stress relief and my like anxiety relief. Yeah. But there was also kind of that mindset of like, if I didn't get 3 runs in for the week because something was going on, like, then I beat myself up. So instead of being like, hey, good job, you ran twice, it was like, this week was a wash.
Yeah. Whole week, not good enough. And so you beat yourself up. So with the next week, would you say, all right, let me add another run to it?
Sometimes.
Or harder, or
sometimes I would say, okay, next week I'm going to run. It really became like running faster. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's not like, that didn't work that way. Like, if I could, and I never ran before. So I've only been a runner since my son started cross country, like in 8th grade. So 3 years ago. Right. Mm-hmm. So for me, running was new, but then it was also like, oh, if I ran and it was this time a mile, like that wasn't good enough. I was slow. I was this, I was that, and that it negated some of the good stuff that it was supposed to be about, and then honestly, just as a female, running by yourself is kind of scary. So it was like, maybe if I run faster, I can get this over with real fast. So nobody's going to jump out and get me, It was like, to like try to be doing something with exercise that's supposed to make you feel better, and all it's doing is like increasing your anxiety. Right, yeah, exactly. Like, it's good, yeah. So yeah, all that's right. Kind of where we're at.
Okay. So it's crazy how like the things that are supposed to be helping us so much ended up becoming the things that were really taking you down. So like, all right, if I want to eat healthier, that means like, don't eat this. Like, oh, I ate too much of that, so take this away. So you're constantly beating yourself up with that. Or, if I don't get enough runs in, or if I'm not running fast enough, or if I'm not doing time, okay, I'm not good enough. I'm not doing. So everything was pointing to not enough, not good enough. Do more, be more, all these things. And these are constant, kind of messages and cycles and things that we're constantly getting from the outside world. And it penetrates your heart. And then you start feeling, am I enough? Can I do enough? Can I be enough? Am I healthy enough? And then you had to change that. So tell me, during our time working together, what did you work on? What did we work on? What did you learn? What are the things that were game changers for you?
So we don't even have a scale anymore. I mean, we do. I probably threw it away. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I just hid it, because knowing my husband, like, he'll be like, where's the scale? Because he'll want to like weigh luggage or something. And I'll be like, I threw it away. And that's right. What happened. But I so in those 6 months, like, I had no idea what I weighed. Like, it wasn't until I went to the doctor a couple weeks ago that I was like, oh, okay, there's a number, And so I think for that, for sure, doing the weekly measures and the weekly pictures and being able to go back and look at where I started from, that I really thought I was healthy, and not that I wasn't, right. But it's like, there was an obvious difference that it's like, you couldn't, even for somebody like me who, will say, yeah, but, I'm the queen of, yeah, but, to look at it and be like, dang, I did, like, good job, me. I'm actually eating more food now than I ever had before, which is kind of weird. Like, I never was a breakfast person. I would just kind of like wait until I started shaking, and then I was like, okay, I'm hungry now.
Right. Exactly. I think it's time. Right.
Yeah. And now, I mean, there has to be breakfast. There has to be breakfast, and that's probably like my most substantial meal of the entire day. I think just finding joy in getting stronger and having other people notice that I'm stronger. And it's not like I'm hulked out, it's just like my dad yesterday, we saw him for my birthday for dinner, and he hugged me and he was like, dang, like you have muscles. And I was like, thanks. I mean, it's just, so I think it's that perception of that. I've always been mentally strong, but I think being able to be physically strong is a really empowering thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It reinforces the mental strength to be able to know that, okay, I can do this, because it helps you show that I can overcome things.
Right.
And I am enough. I am strong enough. I am able and capable, and I have abilities that I didn't think I could, and then also build your endurance. Because the thing is, while we were working together, you started with what weights when we started working out, and then where are you now?
So for my arms, and no matter what arms thing I would do, it was either at the beginning, it was nothing, or I was like, what if we get, or it was, like 5 pounds. Right. And that was my max. I'm at 15 now, which is huge for arms, especially because I've never I know that the older you get, like your muscle memory, like it doesn't, but I never worked out my arms when I was in high school. I didn't need to. I was a cheerleader. They were just throwing me up in the air. So it's like to have that is really nice. With my legs have always been stronger, but I started with 10s and I'm at 20s now for the most part, 25 sometimes. Yeah. And it's like, oh, look at you.
Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. So you feel more confident now too, when putting on clothes or swimsuit.
And that's been the interesting part too, is that I've had to go up in size, right? Because pants don't fit over my legs anymore. Like, it's not because they're squishy, it's because they're like really, really strong, and size little bitty doesn't fit over big now, And so I think that it's been kind of like it's kind of a freak out at first, like, oh my gosh, And then it was also like, yeah, but would you rather have your little skinny chicken legs like you did before, or do you want these legs? And it was like, okay, yeah. And so it's just kind of been like another thing to kind of accept and kind of to throw away, is that adage of pant size equates to your worth and significance.
Yeah. Because I mean, how many times do we hear women be referred to as, oh, she's a size 2, or he's,
100%. Right.
I'm like, that's the craziest thing. Like, I'm not a size. We're not a number on a scale. We're not a size. We're not these things. And the thing is, we need to stop as women perpetuating those cycles and stop allowing people to identify us in those ways. But you said this to me before, that before you started, you felt like you were kind of like this skinny fat kind of situation.
Oh, absolutely.
You were in a certain size, but you didn't feel great about your body. But now your size, I love that you said your size went up, but you feel like, oh yeah, like your legs are shapely, they're toned, Remember when you went to your massage therapist? What your massage therapist said?
Like, oh my God, like it's like tree trunks. And I'm like, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. But it feels good to be strong. It feels good to be strong. And I love the fact that you love that. And I think most women do love that they love that strength, that feeling of strength, and being able to be stronger and things of that nature. So that's awesome.
I think that and a lot of times, we're told we're the weaker sex and and my husband's he's a big dude. He's big dude. And there's been times before where we've been, I've been irritated with him. I'm like, man, I just wish I could pick you up and just throw you, and it's, am I right to pick him up? No, but I can handle myself if I need to,
right? Wrestle, right?
Yeah, exactly. Without me being like, ow,
Right, exactly, right? You get to give up a good fight now, so that's
good.
Exactly. So I like that. So from here, what would you say? How would you describe yourself now? Like your confidence level, where you are, from where you started to where you are now. Where are you now? What's different? What are your habits that are different? Like who is Kacie now versus who she's been?
So habits that are different now is that if like I eat when I'm hungry, that it's not just, so much like, oh, well, it's not lunchtime. Like if I'm hungry, I'm hungry, but I know what to eat, and I genuinely enjoy what I'm eating, whereas like before it was just, I just got to eat some food. And now it's like, I know that I haven't had fried food in like 6 months. Right. And so if I'm going to have fried food, I have fried food, but I'm going to regret it later. And just because my body's like, we don't do this anymore, So I think the eating habits for sure 100% have changed. For me, it's instead of looking at like working out as being like, oh, I've got to do this. It's like, I want to do it. I know it's going to be hard, and I know I'm going to be drippy, sweaty, gross, but it's like, it feels good it's a different kind of endorphin high than it was with running, that, that running used to be kind of like, well, it was supposed to be like my mental kind of help. And this has kind of turned into that in a really lovely way. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that I feel more confident about myself. There's still that part of me that's like, oh, we don't like this thing. And it's like, but don't we? Like if this is our body and this is what's getting us through this life, we better take care of it and love on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one of the most powerful things. Like, you got to take care of it or it won't take care of you. Period. Right. That's just what it's going to be. It's just what it's going to be. So that's awesome. Okay. So if you had to say to anybody, and it sounds like those are your biggest things, like you're stronger, you're eating better than you have before. One thing, when I talked to you and Richard the other day, you guys said one phrase that like was everything, and it makes me smile from ear to ear. And I love it when my clients say this, but you're in the best health of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. And so that feels amazing to be, you're further along than you've been in any other point in your life, but you're in the best shape, the best health, the best fitness, the best nutrition status of your life, the best digestive health. You're in the best health of your life. And to be able to say that and have that control over your body is everything. It's everything. And so now you have the tools to do what you need to do to continue to perpetuate that cycle and continue to get better and get better and get better and get better. And that's what we should do. That's what we should do. So that's awesome. So from here, if anybody was thinking about coming into the program and they were on the fence and they were like, I think I should, because, I know I should take better care of myself, but I don't know. Nothing's really, really wrong. Because like, you didn't come to me because like everything is falling apart.
Right. Absolutely.
But you knew that something needed to be better. What would you tell somebody who's in that same space as you were?
I think that it's worth it for the investment for yourself. Right. I think that working with you, and I know that Richard and I both said this, is that you were always there, right? Like if it was just like, I don't know if I should eat this thing, you're like, send me pictures, and I think that that's the difference between like you and something else, is that you are there, you are the one that's saying like, yeah, maybe we should look at this, maybe we should, change these things. And so I think that it's like, if you're on the fence about it, I guess my question is why. If you have the ability to do it, like you should do it, because that sounds like the Maybelline commercial, because you're worth it. But it's because you deserve to, especially when it comes to women, we put so many other people first. And it's okay to put yourself first. And by doing this, you are doing that because you're taking care of yourself, which will then in turn allow you to take care of other people better.
I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. She said it. Look, you're worth it. You're worth it. Okay. Maybelline commercial or not, you're worth it. You are worth it. Right. And so like, you got to take care of yourself. You're so worth it. Do it. You won't regret it. It's everything. This is the only body you get. The only body you get. And so you want to take the best care of it. And as you go, you just want it to get better and better and better. And I want you to have a story just like Kacie. I want you to have a story just like Kacie. And I want you to transform your life. And I want to help you do that. So look, if you're on the fence, get off the fence, get into this program, and let's go. But I want to say thank you so much, Kacie, for allowing me to be a part of your journey, to be a part of your family during this journey. All right. And to stay a part of your family as we move through. And I'm just super proud of you and all you've been able to accomplish, all you've been able to do, how you have become more confident and how you love yourself and how you love yourself with the food and the activity that you put in and the work you put in for yourself. I'm just super ultra crazy proud of you because you rock. You rock. And it has been my absolute pleasure to work with you. And I'm just super proud. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much for your insight today and just sharing your story. It's amazing.
It was my pleasure. And you are fantastic.
You're fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, y'all. Look, it's Kacie and Brittany. We're here. We're signing off. Just showing you another transformation story. You should be next. You could be next. There's only one thing holding you back, and it's you. Stop holding yourself back. Put one foot in front of the other. Put one finger in front of your body and just press the button and say, look, I'm ready to get going. I'm ready to get going. And I'm super excited to just have this time with you today, Kacie. Super excited that you were able to tune in. And look, keep eye out. Kacie, she's coming at you. She's lifting them weights. She's coming for you, okay? All right, let's go. Let's get it. Thanks so much. All right, take care. Peace.